First here tonight at 5 o'clock, a late developing story this afternoon. One person has been shot on I-65 northbound, north of downtown Louisville, following an apparent road rage shooting today. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
I'm Connie Leonard. It happened just around 2 o'clock this afternoon in southern Indiana. And Indiana State Police say the shots happened on the interstate in Henryville. That's, of course, just about 30 minutes north of Louisville. And that is where ISP says two separate cars pulled over, with a woman eventually shooting the man. Police say the suspect got back in the car and stopped at the Circle K, where EMS responded.
Now, WHAS11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Aspen Hester are there live on the scene. You've been talking to Indiana State Police. Alexandra, what do we know so far about the suspect's condition in this case?
Connie, Doug, right. I mean, we know a road rage incident in southern Indiana sent one victim to the hospital with a gunshot wound. It happened on I-65 near Henryville, and we don't know the condition of the victim, but we do know how this all escalated. Indiana State Police said around 2 p.m., two cars were in a sideswipe accident with minor damage to the cars. Tensions between the drivers escalated on the road, and then at exit 19, both drivers exited their cars with guns. Police say the driver of a Ford Bronco fired 4 shots at the driver of a minivan. The victim was transported to U of L Hospital, and the suspected shooter was arrested on scene. Trooper Philip Hensley said this was completely avoidable.
When you've got a road rage situation, two vehicles sideswiped, the simple thing to do, just stop. Just pull over on the shoulder, check your damage. Nobody likes to be in a crash. It's a very uncomfortable and frustrating thing for anyone, certainly. But you have to deal with it. To become in a confrontation where you're making gestures, you're speeding up, you're not stopping, and then escalate it to where you get out of the vehicle, confront each other with guns, is ridiculous, and it's uncalled for.
And we don't have any information on what that suspected shooter will be charged with, but we do know that that exit ramp 19 is now open, so traffic should be flowing freely now.
Alexandra, I know you were telling me you learned one other interesting twist on this. This all played out while someone was on the phone with 911. Who was that person, and how did all that play out?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The suspected shooter was on the phone with a 911 dispatcher as shots rang out. Police said that that suspected shooter called 911 as that sideswipe accident started to take place. And the 911 dispatcher advised that suspected shooter to pull off on the road, check to see their damage on the car. That other car followed, and then that's when that confrontation took place. So police are telling us that, yes, 911 was on the phone as those 4 shots were fired.
All right, Alexandra Goldberg reporting live at Sellersburg. Thank you.
What do you need the money for? How much do you need, and for what?
Brandenburg restaurant owners remain unconvinced that they'll benefit from a 2% tax on dining out. City council members there in Meade County of Brandenburg are set to vote on the tax after this weekend.
But owners are worried what this could mean for their business and the tips that support their employees. Our Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Alyssa Newton traveled out to Meade County today.
The city of Brandenburg is proud of their riverfront park, but they need to pay for things like mowing the grass. That's why they're proposing a 2% restaurant tax in town, but it's something many of the restaurant owners disagree with.
That's the case at the Daily Grind on Main Street.
Everything in here you see we did ourselves.
Owner Rochelle Frazier still wants to know more about what the city would do with the money raised.
I'm not sure that we've gotten any good reason for the fees yet. That's a concern.
Her other concern is that it could mean less tips for the baristas behind the counter. She sees lots of rising costs at her business, from coffee beans to food. Brandenburg Mayor David Pace feels similar about running the city.
Down the road, it's going to get worse and worse because costs are going up and our income's staying level.
Pace said the city needs the tax revenue for a balanced budget, but critics say the city council should not have voted for elected officials' raises if that was the case. The mayor stands by the proposal, citing its low cost.
A $50 meal in Brandenburg would be a $1 charge.
Whatever, it's $1. But people will look at that, especially old heads, especially people who look at their bill. You know people who look at the receipt. I do. I don't complain about it, but I'll be like, really? Because I know as a resident that it's not going to a good cause. And although it's 2% or whatever, it'll increase. You got to think of the future.
Pace wants a future where Brandenburg can afford 24/7 police coverage, but Frazier doesn't want her coffees and lunch to cost customers anymore.
On one of our average tickets, it's going to be 40 or 50 cents. But if they were going to tip that 40 or 50 cents to our employees, they may not be once they have another fee.
With those shrinking margins, she hopes the city council will shut out the tax.
And the proposed tax will be considered at the next regular meeting of the Brandenburg City Council, Monday, December 9th at 7 p.m.
What we're not going to do is we're not going to succumb to political pressure and do what Baltimore did, which is rush it at the end and have mistakes in it that I think both the Department of Justice and the City of Baltimore wishes they had not done.
Well, that was for the first time. We heard that this week. Louisville Metro Police Chief Paul Humphrey citing another city's issues when asked why a federal consent decree has not yet been signed yet for Louisville. That is, of course, the police reform agreement that Louisville has been working to finalize with the U.S. Department of Justice for more than 9 months. Tonight, one expert tells us Louisville has all the leverage to delay this process if they want to, with President-elect Donald Trump taking office in just 6 weeks.
The expectation is if the consent decree isn't agreed to by January 20th, Trump's Department of Justice would likely end talks altogether. Isaiah Kim Martinez joins us now in studio with what it could mean. And Isaiah, the police chief talked about Baltimore, and you talked with a man who was involved in those negotiations.
And Connie and Doug, this is important because what other cities do, current cities that are in that process, can very much take lessons from that. I talked with Jason Johnson. He's the former deputy police commissioner over in Baltimore. He helped negotiate their consent decree with the DOJ and wishes they would have pushed back harder on some of their terms. Johnson's been warning cities like Louisville to be careful what they agree to, and it appears Louisville city officials have listened. Here's Johnson's response to Humphrey's words.
And I think it is smart to only enter into these things when you know and fully understand all those implications. So I agree with the chief's comments, and I think it's a prudent course to take. I don't think that you could force a consent decree upon them in the next 6 weeks. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Now, in that interview, Johnson suggested Louisville has the leverage here. He says the DOJ can't wrap up negotiations unless the city wants to, and he argues the feds may have to make major concessions in certain areas in order to move the needle. Meanwhile, Mayor Craig Greenberg has been clear what he's yet to see in a final draft, his non-negotiables, a deal that has specific performance measures and a clear exit path. So far, he says neither have happened, and the clock's ticking. Connie.
All right, Isaiah, thank you so much for that. Well, going back to its report from last year, the Department of Justice found patterns of the LMPD violating rights of the community. Those included a use of excessive force, searches based on invalid warrants, and unlawful discrimination of the city's black community members. Ahead of the report, Metro Police had already enacted reforms. It implemented Breonna's Law, named after Breonna Taylor, by banning no-knock warrants. Police also strengthened use of force policies and established a civilian review and accountability board.
We're going to get to warmer weather, folks. It's coming, but first we've got to get through a few more cold nights. It's still in the 30s as the sun is going down. What an amazing sunset on this Friday night. We have got so much to look forward to this weekend. It's Light Up Louisville, Bardstown Road aglow. I'm probably missing a few other things.
There's so many light ups all over the city. There are.
Holiday concerts everywhere, and Sam Gabrielli is joining us. So Sam, well, what about our Saturday? We might as well look ahead now.
Yeah, exactly, Doug. The nice thing is for all the festivities this weekend for the holiday season, weather is going to be cooperating with us. We're going to be in the 40s tomorrow, and on Sunday, we'll be back into the 50s, and there will be a chance for rain, though, Sunday night into Monday, and I'll be talking about that in just a moment, but let's talk about the cold that we really have been enduring lately. 17 this morning in Louisville. A lot of other spots to the southwest of Jefferson County did fall well into the upper single digits. Brandenburg this morning at 78, 9 in Hardinsburg. And again, temperatures by and large for the afternoon did recover a little bit. We did manage to make our way just over freezing in Louisville, 35, Elizabethtown at 33, and Brandenburg smack dab at 32 degrees. So here's a look at that sunset again, and throughout the course of the night tonight, it'll be a cold one back into the lower 20s in Louisville. So once that sun, of course, drops below the horizon, temperatures will be really dropping off quite a bit. We've already fallen to 33 in Louisville, 30 in Paoli, and 31 off towards Jasper. Take a look at that wind chill factor. It's going to be a cold one. Bundle up, stepping out the door. Grab that parka with you or the winter coat. 23 tonight in Louisville. So again, if you have some Friday evening plans, make sure you are dressing accordingly, as we're finally going to be seeing some warmer temperatures into the weekend. Doug and Connie, I think a lot of people are liking this weather graphic. We're going to see plenty of sun into the weekend, 40s tomorrow and 50s. I'm talking about some rain chances into Sunday night in a couple more minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Sam. Well, today is the last official business day for the city of Bonneville, Kentucky. The Hart County community is where just a little more than 200 Kentuckians call home. And a vote to dissolve their local government was decided, as we told you, by a difference of only 7 votes back in November. Bonneville's official last day is this Sunday. The Hart County Judge Executive says the county will be taking over maintenance of city streets, which will now become county roads.